Good afternoon and welcome to St Albans Football Ground for the 2009 GDFL Grand Final. Boy, are we excited. We're historical day as it is, with the first live coverage of a country footy match live on Channel 31, and we're all ready to rock and roll. Don't you worry about that. Hello, I'm Dick Philpott, and once again I've assembled some of the biggest names and brains in local football. Some special guests coming up, and we've got a fantastic afternoon coming up. But first of all, help me do all the talking and keep me quiet for a little while. First of all, good afternoon to Jake Burke.
Yeah, thanks, Dick. It's good to be here. We're going to have a great day's worth of football here. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely fantastic. And of course, these guys, a lot of these guys need absolutely no introduction. Of course, we call him the 9-game veteran of the Geelong Footy Club and Bannockburn legend Dale Smith. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Dick. Yeah, no, I've just moved across one, mate. I'm the good-looking bloke, not the ugly bloke. But yeah, look, it's a tremendous day for footy, and I'm glad we haven't. The wind is starting to pick up here, so that might be the only deterrent. And it's blown most of the final series, so both sides should be very familiar playing in these conditions.
And of course, the man who started off our footy shows many, many years ago. We've dragged him out of his netball skirt just for the afternoon. And of course, I speak of Jason Doherty. G'day, Jace.
Hello, Dick. How are you? Yes, looking forward to what should be a fantastic game. It's nice and warm out here, very spring weather, which is good. So looking forward to what should be a great game.
Fantastic. And of course, the special comments man. People on 94.7, the Pulse, the home of local football. Hear this guy every Saturday afternoon. Cal Lowther, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dick. Yeah, it's going to be a great game of football, and I'm really looking forward to seeing these two teams in action this afternoon.
Should be a fantastic game indeed. Now, a very quick one word answer. Who do you reckon's going to win the flag?
East Geelong.
Okay.
One word, East. I'm not allowed to say Geelong.
Eastern Murray Fanning.
Bit of controversy, folks. First up.
East by a lot.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to get these boys and let them go into the commentary box very shortly. We've got interview coming up with the president of the Geelong District Footy League, Neville Whitley, OAM, and we'll be with him very, very shortly. Back after this. And welcome back, yes, back at St Albans Ground. And of course, the weather down here in Geelong is absolutely sensational, and we're ready for a fantastic grand final. Two sides that haven't won a premiership for many, many years. One in particular hasn't won one, actually. The Belfast Hill Panthers going for their first ever, and the East Geelong Eagles. Well, it's been about 15 years since they won one in second division, and about 30-odd years since they won one in Division 1. With me now for their interview, the first interview of the day, is the president of the Geelong and District Football League, Neville Whitley, OAM, and of course an East Geelong legend in his own right. Neville, welcome first of all to the first telecast.
Yes, great, Dick. It's very exciting.
It's very exciting indeed. Now, obviously, you've got to be unbiased in these sort of games, and your allegiance goes a long way back to the East Geelong Footy Club.
Yes, it does, Dick. I was mascot back in 1948, so it's giving away my age. And all my football was played at East Geelong, and I was present there and on the committee. I'd like to see them win, but I'm just hoping for a great game.
Neville, you've got a big day today, and of course, at this stage, the North Geelong Footy Club, they have won their premiership. It was a championship, actually, in their under-18s. Corio and Belfast still are travelling along very nicely as we speak. But we're expecting a massive crowd here today because two clubs that are participating that we don't normally see every year on Grand Final Day.
No, we don't. East Geelong played off 3 years ago, and Belfast Hill last year, and they're going again this year. So, yes, it's good that Belfast still haven't won a grand final or a premiership, and East Geelong a long-awaited one. And as I said before, I'm hoping for a great game, and the best side will come out on top.
Neville, in the Geelong Advertiser yesterday, there was a big publicity about the ground being painted. What was the story there?
Well, it wasn't actually painted. We got some food dye or chemical that the Turf Care put on, and it's coloured it up a little bit, but a little bit more grass, and would have been a lot better. But we've got a bit of a green tinge on it because it's all that drought-proof grass. And for a spectacle over Channel 31, we thought we'd try and get a little bit of green into it.
Neville, also, at the luncheon we just had before too, was interesting. One of the guests we had there from the SPAN network, Suicide Prevention Awareness Network, and that's a sensitive point at the moment, but it's great that they can bring their principals out here to a great day like this, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Dick. We support a lot of community groups like that over the year. As you heard at the luncheon, we've done Read the Play. We've worked with Pink Footy Day, which is breast cancer awareness, Heart Kids. So over the year, we've put some money back into our community support groups, and SPAN is no exception. And it touched us early in the year with one of our vice president's daughter committing suicide, and it was a sad occasion for the whole league. and you don't know what's going on out there until you're touched by it.
Exactly. Now, Neville, I know you've got to be unbiased today, but in all honesty, everybody needs to know on Channel 31 exactly who you believe will win in all honesty, and you can even crack it for a margin if you like.
Well, I think East Geelong's been the side. They're winning 15 games in a row. Belpost Hill have always been there, but I just think the East Geelong have the power forwards to probably get over the line.
Well, very interesting indeed. No, that wasn't too bad actually. Well, of course, East Geelong were here 2 years ago, and unfortunately for them, were beaten by the Belmont Lions, and of course, Tommy Tyke won it last year. But a big opportunity now for a side, the Belpost Hill Panthers, to win their first ever premiership, and a long time waiting for their flag from the East Geelong Eagles. We're going to move now and welcome back. Yes, well, we're flying by the seat of our pants today.
Must be a delay.
Package that's not eventuated. It's something a lot more important, and that is, we alluded to before the break with the president of the GDFL, was the SPAN network, Suicide Prevention Awareness Network. And with us today, we've got two representatives from that network. First of all, Kim and Lisa. Hello, girls. How are you going?
Very good, thank you.
Now, Kim, I'll hand it over to you to tell us exactly in a few short words what this is all about.
Okay, it's raising awareness and understanding of suicide, and we have a couple of stands around the ground with some promotional products. We have some wristbands, some stubby holders, yes. One situated up near the netball courts, one very close to where we are now, and we just ask, please support our cause. It will all go to funds.
There you go, folks. Tough times pass, and that's exactly what it's about. Suicide can be prevented, we hope, but at least kids are out there. Talk to someone, communicate, and just hope it doesn't happen to you. Thank you very much, Kim. Thank you, Lisa. SPAN, Suicide Prevention Awareness Network. Keep an eye out for the stalls here today, and folks at home, very, very conscious of that indeed. Okay, we're going to take another short break, and when we come back, we'll ball footy. A big day, a big game on this afternoon, of course. We've got the East Geelong Eagles and the Belpost Hill Panthers. And before we had the president of the Geelong District Footy League, Neville Whitley, OAM, of course, a former East Geelong champion. And now I have the president of the East Geelong Eagles, a very nervous, I would imagine, Graham Thompson. How are you, Graham?
Good, thanks, Dick.
Now tell us, mate, tell me why East Geelong is going to win this grand final today.
I think we're well prepared. We've got a great side. We've done our homework, and we're very confident that we'll take the game out today.
Okay. Now, anything different from your preparation from a couple of years ago? We don't want to really talk about that, I know, but you lost the grand final 2 years ago against the Belmont Lions. Is there anything different that the club has done to prepare themselves for this grand final?
There's a number of things. There's actually 12 different players in the side today that we lost in 2007. So we've recruited very well. We've recruited quite a number of players that we required to get in this position we are here today. So we've certainly learned a lot from 2007. In the fact of discipline and so forth, so hopefully that shows out today. And just better prepared overall. Okay?
I guess one of the go-to players that is well talked about through local football circles, a big man, can probably play in any position. Very dangerous around the forward line. Adam Scrobelak, a very important part of your side.
He certainly is. He's done a lot. He's certainly learned from his previous years as coach, and it's certainly shown through today. But as far as his discipline and that's concerned, he's certainly turned things around in a big way. So we're very proud of him, and hopefully we can bring it home today for us.
Graham, did you get any sleep last night?
Yes, I slept quite well, as a matter of fact.
So you didn't toss and turn, you're raring to go?
Yes, I'm raring to go. So.
Okay, mate. Well, I hope you do very, very well today. And, of course, we in the commentary are very unbiased, of course. And we hope the old saying, we hope the better team does win. And for your sake, I hope it's the East Geelong Footy Club. And but I'll be saying probably something along those lines to Papa Lewis, if we can indeed find him amongst the crowd, of course. But all the very best for this afternoon, and I just hope that it's a great game of footy played in the right spirit, and that whatever the result, you have a great day anyway.
Thanks very much, Dick.
Nice to have you, Graham. Graham Thompson, the president of the East Geelong Footy Club. We're looking for Graham Lewis. We don't know whether he's about or not, but we might just take a very short break, and when we come back, hopefully we'll have the president of the Belpost Hill Panthers here to talk to you very, very shortly. Back after this. Well, everyone gets equal time here, and we've spoken to Graham Thompson, the president of the East Geelong Footy Club. But, as they say in the classics, no their punt. We've got the very popular president here of the Belpost Hill Footy Club. Panthers, and of course the Dragons have been around a long time, and they're hoping to win their first flag ever in the history of their club. And I speak, of course, to the President, Mr. Graham Lewis. Good afternoon.
Thanks for that. Obviously, you've spoken to the younger Graham, so this older Graham's got a little bit more knowledge. So we're reviewing from last year. We're in the same boat. This year, I believe we're a better side.
Yep.
We've got a stronger side now than when we played East last time.
Juddy.
All we're going to do is be able to handle the wind and also make sure we've got 18 players on the ground all of the time. And that way ensure that we're able to get away with our first grand final win.
Okay. Graham, last Saturday, that was heart attack material, there's no doubt about that. You guys thought you were gone, and then you were back in town, and then you were gone again, and back in town at the right time. How was the heart going at about 5:30 last Saturday afternoon?
Well, my father spoke to me on yesterday and said that you've got to stop doing this because he's 86 and he wants me to get to his age. So really, we've got to make sure we win this grand final so the heart still keeps going.
Unbelievable, mate. Very high emotions indeed. Now, this afternoon, very shortly actually, the players will be on the ground. The game will get started. Where is Belpost still going to win this game?
I think with the strength we've had around the ground, we've had a harder run into the finals than East. I think we're more mentally prepared for it, and I think we've been used to handling the wind conditions more so.
Speaking of wind, it was rather calm before, but all of a sudden a cyclone has just erupted here at St Albans Park. The wind has really come up, and I guess whoever gets the chance to kick to the southern end of the ground will be a great advantage to them.
Oh, look, I believe in that, but the whole thing is the wind's pretty fickle here at times because when you get to the last quarter, it may not be there. So if you're kicking with it in the first quarter, you've really got to make sure of it.
Now, Graham, when the Belpost Hill Panthers win their first flag this afternoon, is that it? You're going to retire as president, or we got another big stint coming up, you think?
No, I think with the pressures that I'm putting upon my family and myself, this will be my last year as president.
Oh, that'll be sad for the club. But because you've been a loyal servant of the Belpost Hill Footy Club, and so too, of course, and I've spoken on the footy show before about the dynasty of the Lewis family. It's not only the father, as we affectionately know him as Popper, as president, but the boys have had a great contribution as players to the club as well.
Certainly, and that's one of the reasons why now, with being president, when you've got sons involved, the hype of you is just that much more intense all the time because you worry about them because my sons aren't exactly what you'd say soft footballers.
Angels.
They have a habit of playing vigorous football, and then you've always got that level where you think that, oh, are they going to get reported or are they going to this? And so that adds to the pressure on you all the time. And like I said, even though they're fantastic footballers, they can still give you some heartache.
Graham, we run out of time. All the very best this afternoon, and I mean that sincerely. As I said to Graham Thompson, what we want is a fair game, a tough game, and we would love it close, but I bet you wouldn't like it close. But the big crowd that's turning up here at St Albans Footy Ground are looking forward to a great contest, and at 5:30 this afternoon, I hope that everybody's happy somewhere on the line. All the very best to you, my friend, and I hope it is a great day for you at the end of the day.
Thanks very much, Dick.
Graham, no, that was the other bloke. Graham Lewis, the president of the Belpost Hill Panthers. We're going to take a short break and we're going to be right back, and we'll be up with the boys up in the commentary position to get this big game underway. Back after this.
Welcome back to St Albans Reserve in Geelong for the Geelong District Football League Grand Final for season 2009. East Geelong and Belpost Hill this afternoon, and we've seen Corio get up in the reserves and also North Geelong win the under-18s and set the scene for what should be a fantastic senior grand final this afternoon. As you can see, a massive crowd here at St Albans this afternoon for what should be a great game. As I introduce formally Dale Smith, who was involved in the under-18s this morning as the coach of the Bannockburn side. Unfortunately, he couldn't get them up, but great to be part of the day. Dale?
Look, mate, it's always nice to make it this last day in September. As I said, it's a good tribute to my kids especially. But, look, we were beaten by a better under-18 side today. There's no doubt about it. I don't know whether I've seen a better junior side going round, and they were very, very good and well and truly deserved of premiers and champions for the year. So well done to the North Geelong boys, and they're probably not listening at the moment, I wouldn't think. It probably have a few other things on their mind, I would think, along with their coach Craig Cook. So they've done a tremendous job. Look, I suppose that we got the better part of the day. It looks like that wind might take up this afternoon and will be very blowy in conditions. So look, it might suit Belpost still with their not being that tall, that the running players, if they can get into the game early like they did 2 weeks ago and play that last quarter from the very start, then the pressure will go back on East Geelong for sure.
As we said, as you can see on screen, Belpost Hill already out onto the ground. It's a 2:15 start this afternoon, so they're out early, out of the rooms early, just to get a feel and the atmosphere of the afternoon. The ground is in very good condition, And it has been spruced up beautifully during the week by the Geelong District Football League. As we have seen in most of the finals here at St Albans, the wind is going to the southern end of the ground and is blowing quite blustily now. We'll get Cal Lowther's look on the ground in a moment, but also joining us in special comments as always, Jake Burke. Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, thanks, Jace. It's going to be a terrific day of football. I'm really looking forward to it. We saw an epic game last weekend between Thompson and Belpost Hill in the preliminary final, and hopefully we can get something similar to that today, just to get the blood flowing.
And as we said, East Geelong not yet out on the ground, but the umpires are out already, and Belpost Hill. Boys, we'll just have a look at the teams quickly. Belpost Hill seemed to have had to make a forced change. Tim Barton, who played last week in the preliminary final, suspended during the week for a week. So we believe Lee McIlvaney's the player who's come in, Dale?
Yep, that's correct. Most of the other ones, or the other candidates, we thought Stevie Overall, Caleb Basley, all played in their second side along with Dale Dixon. So it was just very interesting to see that those three come in. I thought Caleb Basley would have been the bloke they would have turned to, because he can play anywhere on the ground. He can go through the midfield, he can play up forward. He's a very strong young kid, and also gave him an option in their defence. But look, he's been the only change there. And from what I can gather from East Geelong, I haven't been able to get much out of them today, but I believe that they'll go in unchanged from their win in the some 2 weeks ago. So an unchanged side for East Geelong all goes to well for them.
Interesting to see with McIlvaney coming in for Belpost Hill. He's only played the 6 games for the year, and as we said, there's probably a few more candidates that you would have thought would have come in before him. So obviously Rob May, the coach, has found something during the week that's impressed him from Lee, and I suppose good luck to him today.
East Geelong out on the ground now through the banner for their second grand final appearance in 3 years. They were here in 2007 against the Belmont Lions and went down that day. They were wanting a bit of retribution this afternoon. Also out on the ground is Cal Lowther, who's working the coaches and on the ground for us this afternoon. Cal, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jace. The win today is about 2 or 3 goals going towards what we'll call the Buckley's end, or the southern end of the ground. The ground's in reasonable condition, a bit dusty, but very, very fast, and the ball will bounce. And yeah, we're looking forward to a very, very good game today. Interesting to see which team does win the toss of the coin and which way they'll go. But definitely a very, very strong breeze going towards the southern end of the ground.
Thanks, Cal. We'll be back to Cal later to get the toss of the coin, to find out which captain wins the toss, and inevitably go with the breeze, you'd think, in the first quarter, boys. Yep. Dale, the breeze wasn't up this morning when the under-18 boys were playing, but it has picked up since lunchtime, hasn't it?
Yeah, look, it has. I think right through the reserve game, we got it towards the end of the under-18 game, but it was really blowing to that far pocket. It appears to me to be blowing that same direction to the netball court's end, the southern end of the ground. And Cal reckons it's worth 3 or 4, but I reckon if they can get on a bit of a roll, I reckon it's worth 5 or 6 to any side. So it'll be interesting to see whether players or both sides actually play loose men behind the ball when they're kicking into the breeze and run the ball out, or whether they'll just go with their standard sticks back in there and hope that they can win the one-on-one contest and bring the ball to the ground and again take that ball clear.
It's a tale of two sides who have taken very different paths to the grand final, Jake. East Geelong played 2 games in a month.
Yep.
Won the second semi-final. They've won 15 on the trot. They've had the easiest way in. They've got a bit of a fright from Belpost Hill a fortnight ago in the second semi, but have done it pretty easy. Belpost Hill, last kick of the day last week against Thompson, have done it the hard way.
Yeah, it was amazing, wasn't it, last weekend? We saw Belpost Hill have control for most of the day, it had to be said, and then we all knew that the Thompson Football Club are a side that no one can tread lightly, and I'm sure Belpost Hill knew that, but they couldn't do much as Thompson romped home, and as you said, they snuck the lead from a goal from Martin Curtis with only 30 seconds remaining, it would have had to have been, and Belpost Hill were able to get the ball to Brent Gergich from the hit out, and he was able to send the ball forward and a free kick, and I suppose the rest is history. Robbie Kafka kicked the goal, and here are Belpost Hill today, and I suppose they'll be thanking their lucky stars that they're on the ground today, and they'll definitely try and make the most of it.
Dale, it's an interesting way, I suppose you've coached and played in sides that have come through differently through finals. What do you think's the best? Fight hard, play every week, keep going, keep the momentum, or have a week off, be fresh and start from scratch in the grand final?
Well, the 2 early results will say that you go straight through to the grand final and you have the easier path, because it just allows players to get over maybe that little niggle that they carry into a grand final or any game of football, I suppose, for most of the season. So in that sense, look, I'm an advocate for the continuation of football, and it's probably not the best situation to play 2 games in 5 weeks, but you do deserve that rest, and as I said, it does just freshen players up that little bit. And I suppose if they're prepared and if they've worked hard enough on the track, as long as they come out in that first 2 or 3 minutes of the game, you'll soon notice whether they're switched switched on or not. And that's probably the only thing that would change, I think. So it's very important for both sides to get away to a good start here and put some pressure on, because, as I said, without having won a premiership for so long, the thought is in both their minds, and that doubt is just another seed that you can obviously hope to create.
It's something we've seen actually in the two earlier games, as Dale said. It's probably proved in hindsight that having the week off's been the good thing, but both sides that had the week have started pretty sluggish. We saw Bannockburn kick the first few goals in the under-18s, and then North Geelong finally got their act together, and I think a similar sort of thing happened in the reserves with Belpost Hill getting a good start, and then Corai having to work their way back into it. So it'll be interesting to see whether East Geelong are sluggish after their week's rest. And Adam Scrobelak, their coach, actually said you're only as good as your last quarter of football that you played, and their last quarter of football they played wasn't too flash, because Belpost Hill came home with the wet sail, and it'll be interesting to see whether Belpost Hill continue to ride on that wave of emotion from last weekend's great victory.
East Geelong have won the toss and will be kicking to the southern end of the ground in the first term, so that's no surprise, Dale.
No surprise. I don't know whether it was actually called a toss, actually. I think...
Was it a throw?
No, it was a drop.
Push. Drop.
A drop. And it rotated to the ground. But it's a good call there by East Geelong. And Ryan Coy's obviously expecting the sun to stay out during the course of the day. He's got the sunscreen on. He might be going straight on the holiday after the game, mate. I don't know. But he's well linked up.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have a quick look at some key matchups this afternoon in the grand final, and we'll have the start of the first term of the 2009 Geelong District Football League Grand Final. You're watching it live and exclusive on Channel 31 and listening live and exclusive on 94.7 The Pulse. We'll take a break. Back after this. Thank you.
No more ads.
I better not get up.
It's Buffer doing. Oh no, he's getting in there now.
She goes all right.
Better than a Philpot.
Better than Boxer.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Geelong District Football League Grand Final at St Albans Reserve between East Geelong and Belpost Hill. You're looking at Georgie Nichols singing the Australian National Anthem to start the game. And one of our commentators will be looking after around the grounds or on the ground this afternoon. Eric Nichols, it's his granddaughter. Great rendition of the National Anthem. And both sides going out to their final huddles, and the umpires out there also. Boys, in the box here, let's look at some key matchups. Brent Gergich, for people who don't know much about the league, Brent, obviously former Melbourne and Geelong player, playing with Belpost Hill back at his original club. Played mostly in the back line, went forward last week in the preliminary final for the last quarter. Kicked a couple of crucial goals, but do you think he'll start back today?
I think with the wind blowing the way it is, I reckon they'll have a plan for him against the wind and with the wind, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him stay at one end of the ground for most of the day today. I think he's an important part of their game set up. He leads up well last week, and probably for the first time I think we've seen him take those grabs that we expect him to take in the forward line, and it's going to be very important that he has a big part to play in the game today. I think Justin Tarr's the other bloke now. As I said, Scrobelak, if he starts in the goal square, the matchups there is going to be very interesting. We expect that Tarr will probably play forward, so that means that one of their other tools, maybe a Casino, might go back and play him, but I don't know whether there's a fair bit of height and size there. Brad Martin seems to get a big job. We had a smiling assassin, Rod Peacock, last week. Well, this is another bloke that enjoys his footy because he's always got a smile on his face. So it's going to be interesting. I reckon the other place this game's going to be one is those two key players last week was Michael Jennings and Dean O'Hara for East Geelong 2 weeks ago through that middle part of the ground was sensational. And I wouldn't be surprised to see I reckon Travis Fursland will get one of them, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe a Robbie May went out there and played on a wing, or Sergeant Carter might be the other option to go there, so it'll be great.
Possibly Lee McIlvaney as well. He's one that they've brought into the side. That could be a reason. There could be a good reason why they've brought him into the side. He might be doing a shutdown job on someone. He's obviously a sprightly young fellow, and he'd probably have a tank to run around for most of the day, so it'd be interesting to see what his role in the side is today.
Sean O'Leary Luke Cormack, Rob Cuttajar, and I think that's Josh Coy, is it, Dale? Coming to the bench for East Geelong, and Bellpost Hill getting out of their final huddle now across to the other side of the ground. It's very hard, the ground, so it will be bouncing pretty high this afternoon, and also with the wind. Just be interesting to see how East Geelong start with the breeze. You said that the two sides who had the break, Jake, in the last couple of weeks in the under-18s and reserves started a bit slow. Be interesting to see how they use the breeze in the first term and whether Bellpost Hill can hold them.
Absolutely. Well, I know for a fact that Bannockburn, you had the breeze in the first quarter, didn't you, Dale? So that
there wasn't much there, but it was definitely favouring that end.
Yep,
for sure.
and I'm pretty sure Bellpost Hill actually kicked that way in the first quarter as well. So
Pisano, Fantella, McIlvaney and Farah for Bellpost Hill going to the bench.
Hello.